All right, well, we'll give it a minute, but as we can see here, Isanych is playing as the Hreen, Iabids for Gully there.
This is one that if Gully knows the U-bids, there's a couple really strong builds I feel like you can do against it.
Oh, I have to remove something. We're gonna pause this for just a second. A couple things I forgot to do because I'm a noob. So we don't need that anymore.
Call the arms.
I also need. It looks like the score overlay's not working. All right, we'll just have to go with the default for now. We'll figure it out after. All right, let's just go into game number 1 here then. Again, we're gonna have Isanych as the Holy Roman Empire and Gully as the Iabids.
Yeah. So I feel like this is the big thing to always kind of look at is the openings, seeing how comfortable they are on the Civ, seeing if they're doing kind of the meta openings or what we would think is the meta openings, or if they're just kind of going with all over the place.
Yeah, and so I'd be curious how much experience Gully has with Iabids, and if he has much at all. Because again, you're right. If from players I've talked to, Iabids is considered a super strong civilization at the moment. And, Holy Roman Empire, before the patch, before the expansion, was considered one of the worst, if not the worst civ at the high level.
And this is one where, so Ayubids, they're really cool because you can actually do like 4 different openings and build paths with them if you really want, depending on how you want to play the game. The one I would lean towards the most right now, especially against some HRE, would be the good old casino. It's the F key, the Bazaar Wing, and it is just such a strong ability. You do have to kind of adapt for which tickets you get, but it's a really cool way of starting out the game.
Yeah, so it's like every 3 minutes a trade caravan arrives and you get a random selection of items from it, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And it changes, right?
Yeah, so you have there's 7 different options of what you can trade those tickets. You get 4 tickets to use before your next refresh. And there's villagers, 2 traders, Benduin swordsmen or skirmishers, which both are very, very strong units. And that's mainly the reason why I think he should do this against HRE. If you get either one of those, you just immediately spend your 125 gold, either get 2 swordsmen or 2 skirmishers. Either one causes so much of a reaction from your opponent. The skirmishers have extra damage against all infantry units, so they basically force out horsemen. And the swordsmen have extra damage against melee units, so they force out archers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting, because, yeah, I don't know. It's funny, I played this expansion for a week straight almost, but I don't know too much about him. But it looks like he's actually going to put the economic wing with the 3 villagers, and then his orchards will gain an additional 50 food. Now, what do you think about that as a Sage up to Feudal?
So there's one route I like for this one, and you can play it in feudal or play it and go actually to a really, really quick castle age timing with the culture wing if he wants. One thing I would have liked him to do is not fully gather out that one orc or like whatever it's called, the berry bush. He could have had an extra 50 food if he had just left one single food left in there. And actually now we see him lose 100 food because he took out another berry bush.
Oh, that's really smart, actually, to do that, because yeah, so if a player is good enough or recognizes it, they just move berries before it finishes so that they can get that extra 50 food, or 100 food, in this case. That's actually a very good point.
Yeah, and so one thing to also kind of talk about, since these are the new civs, you might not know all the intricacies, and Ayubid is the one that I clearly play the most, is when you go up to Castle Age with these advancements, they're similar, like they're the exact same upgrades, but obviously they increase a little bit for castles. So instead of 3 villagers, it's 8, and an additional 100 food per berry bush. So it's actually like a crazy power spike that you can get with going up to Castle Age, but enough of all that. We're starting to see feudal, so we're going to see what both of these kind of players start to have in store, seeing if we're going to have some early aggression or both of these civs can easily take the more economic path.
Yeah, it looks to me, looks like, so Isanych is going to be going for that 2 TC, already going for the stone. Now, I'm not sure if he's familiar with the fast 2 TC build order with HRE, because I know you can have the second TC started by like 4:30, 4:45, and I think this is going to be quite a bit later, just because, you know, as he's only just now getting on the stone. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, will be quite a bit later, not to mention Gully over on the other side. He's dropping his first production building. Stables is on the way and has a couple different routes he can take. He can choose to build those Desert Raiders now that have a quicker movement and the melee as well as archer ability as a camel.
Yeah, and the other thing to note is for Ayabids is the Golden Age is a little different. Like the first one's kind of the same, you know, gather rate by 10%. But once you get to like level 2, research speeds up 50%, and then level 3's production speeds up 20%, and then there's a couple more that we'll likely not see this game, but...
No. Yeah, still just that 3 villager eco lead due to that wing upgrade, and it's one that, you know, it kind of makes up for the inspiration that HRE is getting just a little bit. Isanych doing a great job scouting out the horseman right as it's crossing over on the map, pulls the vills, and he's going to be able to get this second TC down before the horseman arrives and is able to do too much damage.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the strengths of the HRE. And, you know, despite being a little later than I thought, it was actually quicker than I thought still. He still got it down by 5 minutes. And, yeah, by the time this first horseman gets there, it might get 1 villager kill. But I don't... Well, maybe... I don't know if it'll get 2, but we'll see.
I think he's just going to pull back, yeah, the lower health vills, and he might not even lose a vill if he micros this correctly.
Yeah, it looks like he's just sending him straight back, he's not even waiting for a couple hits or anything. So, likely, he is going to lose 1.
Made the mistake of sending back one of the low health ones, but TC is up, and this is where... Even still, this is a huge win for Gully. He's up 4 villagers. That second TC's up, which is a kind of a big payoff timing now for HRE. He's already got a lot of production, and he can really turn this into some heavy aggression.
Yeah, we have 2 archery ranges, a stable, and a blacksmith already coming down. So yeah, this is definitely going to be an aggressive opening, whereas on the other side, we have 2 stables and a barracks coming out for Isanych.
And this is where I'm going to take the time and talk about the Bazaar Wing again, because yes, he got those extra vills. Yes, he got a little bit extra food, but he could have traded for extra vills already. He could have traded for some earlier swordsmen, some more aggression, and really had an even bigger leg up in both economy and military going with the other wing.
Yeah, that's true, because you can get those really quick. Of course, there is a little bit of, you know, RNG in what you get, but because maybe you don't get that option for the villagers, right?
Whoa. But look at this pressure by Gully right off the bat. He's got archers on the wood line of Isanych, and Isanych not reacting yet. This is the inspired wood line, and there's not a good place to really reallocate to get wood from.
Yeah, and there's already 2 villagers going down for Isanych here. We do see again a first horseman, first spear. Another horseman on the way. I mean, this will be forced back as more horsemen enter the fray, but, you know, he is catching up on vills, though. He's only down by 2, despite losing 2 and... with Ayabids coming in with that extra 3 on the feudal age up.
Yeah, the key here, though, Ayabids at least going to be getting some of these techs behind there, so might not have the same amount of villagers in a little bit, but his villagers hopefully working at a equivalent level as the inspired ones.
Yeah, we're just seeing we're seeing a barracks coming down for Gully now, so he is not going to be letting up on the aggression. Already has +1 attack, and is continuing his relentless assault.
Yeah, the +1 range, you can already see it, how much extra damage those archers are able to do to those tanky horsemen. Just that group of 9 or so was able to, I think, 3-shot or so the horsemen. And once those spears arrive, there's not really going to be too much that Isanych can do with this horseman mass. If the spears arrive. He made a barracks. He's just not making anything out of it.
Yeah, no spears yet, no upgrade. I mean, to be fair, Desert Raider, which... that's a pretty hard counter to the horseman here. Who needs spears?
Really cool unit too, the Desert Raider. Like with the fine micro, you're able to switch from melee form, swap on over to the range, get an extra attack or so off as your counterparts run away or try to close the gap. And ooh, it looks like Gully is fully planning this to be an all-in.
Yeah, he's definitely, you know, he's going for the ram. And now, will he be able to take this out, though? I mean, this will be, you know, there is emergency repair. So it's not like HRE is completely, you know, relying on it. And he is going to lose the first Desert Raider. Desert Raider is down.
Yeah. The one thing that is the huge win for Gully and this all-in right now is if he's ramming down the second TC, look at where all of the food right now is for Isanych. She's on those last couple bit of sheep, but the berries and the deer are both on the east. So if he forces an attack here, it might idle out all of the food. But for now, it's just kind of being that horseman trying to be the distraction for the time for Mai.
I think that's exactly what he should be doing. I think it's one of the things that you kind of see the difference between a player like Beastie and almost everyone else is these horsemen would be raiding right now. He would be going for the deer, going for berries, because it can be such a distracting thing, and that's what can really turn a game around if things are looking dicey, is people trying to deal with raids, and then even forgetting to attack or pulling back their whole army sometime.
Yeah, or not allowing those reinforcing units to come on up, but Archer's able to find another Vil pick. Isanych needs those villagers to be working on those berries. The reinforcing horsemen have arrived, and there's not quite a ton of spearmen there for Gully. Another Desert Raider, though, and Archer's doing a great job kiting back.
Yeah, it looks like there's only 2 spears left. They're kind of hurt, and yeah, that's it. These archers are going to get cleaned up. There's nothing to keep them safe anymore. There's 11 horsemen on the field, and, you know, archers are not bad, but 20 archers doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah, I felt like he dropped that barracks early, just didn't get the spears out in time. Horseman getting a great surround on those archers, really getting all of the mass cleaned up pretty quickly. One Desert Raider arrives to help out a bit, but Gully is really losing the steam that I felt like he had a bit ago.
Yeah, I mean, this went from, you know, looked like it might be scary for Isanych to complete cleanup, and now he's looking pretty good. He is out of deer, though it looks like he's moving to the berries on the left, and his second deer pack is way out here. Though he does have a boar not too far to the top corner.
Yeah, still, this is at the point, though, that you feel pretty good. You stood off from the first big push. He's starting to wall up on the west side. He's even dropped a few farms next to the chapel to have some long-term slow food gathering for himself. And, I mean, he's got the Vil lead now, and he's the one starting to be the aggressor.
Yeah, so the question is he going to start saving for that Castle Age, or is he going to try to counterattack? I mean, he is still making units, so it looks like Isanych doesn't seem to have a desire to age up yet. And on the other side, we still see more and more units coming out for Gully as well, so he doesn't seem to be focusing on an age up either, and even throwing down another barracks.
Yeah, and you can see he has that 1-1-1 this time. It has invested in a few more spearmen and invested in quite a bit of horsemen himself, which makes sense considering he saw Isanych having that transition to a few more archers.
Yeah, it looks like Isanych was going to go raid and then caught Gully's horsemen that were going to be sent out to raid, but we also have walls coming up, so, you know, the raiding likely won't do much.
Ooh, and Phalanx going to be coming in for the Ayubids, but not before he loses both of those villagers out on the gold.
Yeah, it's always painful. And I just realized that Isanych actually had no blacksmith upgrades for this entire game yet. So for that first engagement, he won that pretty handily without a single blacksmith tech.
Yeah, it just shows you how hard that counter composition can be. If you don't have the right unit, it doesn't matter if you have the right techs. You're still just outclassed overall. Horseman trying to get damage yet again, and Gully has his whole entire army trying to deal with this.
Yeah, and look at this. Gully's actually gathering stone. He's gathered 450 stone so far. My assumption is he's going to be throwing down a second TC, or maybe he's going to throw down 2 TCs. Judging that he's still gathering stone, he's at 538.
Yeah, the weird part here, though, is he's making so many archers that he really needs to idle out his archer production because he needs the wood to build the second TC, but he is getting that second TC down and should potentially be getting a third, as you were saying.
Yeah, he did have another villager that he put on stone, so I think he's going to be gathering for a third. The thing is, you know, Isanych has a couple things he can do here. I mean, he could go Castle Age, or he could try to do some feudal pressure, and I really think he should just be almost focusing on Castle Age because he's got, after cleaning up that army, there's no threat to him. And there's a raid on the right-hand corner, by the way.
Oh, perfect raid on the right, denying those villagers that moved out to the berries. Also circling around, has spotted out the secondary TC, has spotted out other villagers on berries, and he's just making Gully take all the pressure, have to fall back. And Isanych, look at his resources. He's got the gold in the bank, essentially for castle. He moved out to the berries, and if he idles production for a bit, he will be at that castle you were talking about.
Yeah, and he's about to kill 5 extra villagers. He did lose quite a few of his horsemen, unfortunately not paying attention, and lost a lot to spearmen, but he's killed, 8 villagers total. And, ooh, there's a raid going on his side of the map, though. I think Gully's a little distracted.
Yeah, unfortunately for Isanych, he was not distracted. His horseman got cleaned up, so he was focusing back on his base, has that archer mass, pulled back the vills ahead of time, and didn't even take much idle time from this raid.
Nah, this raid hasn't really done anything at all. Just, I mean, might get a villager now, but again, he's up by 23 workers. Isanych has got to be feeling pretty good about his position at this time.
Yeah, and those 23 workers, they're also working a little bit harder if they are under that chapel, if they got any of that inspiration. So really in a prime time position playing the HRE.
Yeah, and it looks like Gully does have enough stone for that next TC. Is he going to make it? And it looks like he is. Third town center going down. I mean, he kind of has to do this, right? He's super behind. I mean, military, they're even. He's behind a lot on workers. And so he's got to do something to catch up.
Yeah, the one thing that people may not realize, though, is the UBIDs, they don't get that fresh foodstuffs upgrade. So he'll be costing the full amount of the food for these these villagers out of all 3 TCs.
Yeah, we do see the horsemen actually survive at the top. They did actually clean up the horsemen chasing them. Not exactly what you want here. And, oh, and here we go, going through the wall now.
At the same time, a few horsemen in his base, killing out some of those units that pop out, even the spearmen who were popping out of the barracks. But Isanych looks like he's planning on pulling back, needs to respect this push, as there are a lot of spear archers in his base. Villagers already starting to get taken down on that gold. Farms might be idled in a little bit.
Yeah, and we're just seeing reinforcements getting cleaned up. You know, another raid, starting to get some villager kills. We've had 3 villager kills so far. And then we have, okay, but looks like Gully is being pushed back. You know, he's still behind by 19 workers. Does lose 1 more villager, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got this smaller mass chasing him. He must not be looking, because he could just turn this right back around, try to clean up a few archers and take this better trade rather than losing a few of these units.
Yeah, he could easily clean this up. He's definitely, I don't know if he's distracted by something. I don't see anything going on. Maybe he's just a little scared of being caught up to. Definitely seems a little scared, because yeah, he could have cleaned that army up, and then because yeah, Isanych had over half his army was back at home.
Yeah, and now when Isanich's army groups back together, Gully definitely can't take that fight at that point. It almost looks like Gully's the one who's trying to prep this Castle Age himself. As I said that, it's 800 wood in the bank, not food. So immediately ate those words.
I was about to say, looks like he doesn't have any of a food bank though. So if Castle's on his mind, he's a bit late there.
Yeah, no, it was that was just one that I looked the wrong way. Archer's taking the fight though. This is right under one of the outposts. No one in the outpost, so not really helping that much. And Isanych, this is a fine fight for him to take, and he is forcing Gully back. Yeah,
and this is the thing where Ibids is going to struggle like a lot of other cities, like Abbasid. Feudal Age men-at-arms, they don't have an effective way to deal with them. And they can tank so much arrow fire. I mean,
no reason to go into Desert Raiders.
Oh,
There's
he's
too
going
many
castle.
archers now at this point. And there is, wow.
10 seconds till Gully's in castle.
See, I misspoke, but I meant that the whole entire time.
I forgot he got the cheaper castle option. This is actually very cute.
I could have sworn I said it, but I don't know. I saw it, and then I thought I was crazy.
Well, because it didn't show up in the UI.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be very bad for... I mean, Isanych actually is not very far from going castle himself. So he should be fine.
Though, it's his push. All you need is like 5-6 Ghulams to pop out. Guess what he has in queue? 6 Ghulams. 5 barracks are already out. So Isanych, he does need to fall back. If not, he has to micro so well.
Yep, exactly. So he's pulling, Isanych is pulling back. Gully's going to try to push here, but I imagine Isanych is going to... I was going to say go to Castle Age himself, but he's only got 2 villagers on gold. He actually used the market to sell resources to get to Castle, and still only has 2 villagers on gold in general.
Another fight going down in the middle. Gulam's not quite on the front line yet. There's 11 men-at-arms for Isanych, so this is still somewhat okay for Isanych. He's still stalling this out while the Regnance is going up behind this.
Yeah, Regnant's going up. He really needs to. Isanych really needs to pull some workers and get them on gold, because he's going to get the Castle Age, and he's going to have no way to upgrade his to veteran tech, blacksmith techs, which he's already lacking on a bit. Like, this Castle Age isn't going to do much for him once he gets there. He can't make knights either.
Yeah, ranged armor number 2 is coming in. He just doesn't have a ton of food in the bank, and Gully forcing his way forward. Looks like he might be heading right towards that wood line again, right towards the whole entire chapel farm area.
Yeah, and we do see, again, he's pushing through. He's going to idle his economy. Again, only 5 villagers on gold. Oh, there we go. Isanych at the top pulled 28 workers and put them on gold immediately, realizing, oh, wait, I don't have any gold. That's very important for Castle Age, by the way, because if you get the castle with no gold, well, your castle's not doing anything.
Yeah, he made a different farm transition over on that north side by that gold as well. So even though these farms are idled, that's not all of his food economy. He is being forced back quite a bit. Archers trying to help fire. Those are not veteran archers yet. They have no upgrades. They don't have the extra damage. And Gully's got wedged rivets in. Look at those Gulams. They are absolute tanks on that front line.
Yeah, I like what Isanych is doing, though, recognizing that. He's focusing down the archers. Those are the real power dealers right now. So if he can take down those archers, then he can deal with the men-at-arms with knights, as he does, as his own knight. He can maybe start mixing in his own men-at-arms as well. Though, oh,
look at the damage that's been done behind this. Couple archers split off, killed out a ton of villagers, and Gully has taken the Vill lead while keeping this pressure up.
Yep, and there's not enough knights. 2 knights is not enough for 10 Ghazi Raiders. Archers are going down. Gully is, I mean, he's killed 31 workers. He has a villager lead now. It's 85 to 75. He used to be behind 20.
Villagers pop back out, back on the farms, but the farms are not safe, and reinforcements come in for Gully. This whole entire chapel spot is getting crushed. It looked so good for Isanych for so long, but he just didn't respect that castle timing, wasn't able to adapt in time, and I don't know if he's going to be able to stabilize here.
Yeah, look at that food economy. He's only got 800 food per minute. Like, he does have food coming in, so he's not dead yet, but is he not dead, though? I don't know. It's looking pretty bad for him. I'm not sure he can hold this anymore.
He hasn't even put that relic inside the Regnance. Prelate is just standing over there because so much craziness is going on, and it's 21 to 8 on the military units.
Yeah, I always like to pride myself in being honest, and I'm just going to say it. I think Isanych is dead, guys. I don't think he's coming back here. His economy's idled. There's a lot of golems in his base. 6 golems are coming up to where he's getting food and gold. That's about to be more idled economy. I'm not
immediately takes down a Vill, and behind this Gully, he's got the Camulances, the dervishes that are able to quickly pick up those relics and bring them back on home. So forget the Regnants getting dropped and maybe having some ability to come back with the relics, because he's not going to get too many of them.
Yeah, and there's more and more. 44 workers have been killed so far. There's still 5 in the main TC, 6 golems in the second one. They're just killing villagers. They are slaughtering them. This is a war crime, is what we're witnessing live on Twitch.
Yeah, Isanych has just constantly had his population number continue to fall, not being able to stabilize, not being able to get his feet back under him.
Yep, and he is back on his farms at home, but again, there's still a golem there. And more golems. These villagers are running. They're trying their best. And now Gully has a 35 worker lead.
More of the villagers on the farms, and I mean, if I'm Isanych now, I just throw in the towel. He can't be all over the map. He can't stabilize here. Every time he gets a knight, a couple crossbows out, they essentially just get taken right back out.
Yeah, I mean, it actually looks like he is kind of stabilizing, because Gully, I think he kind of had to do a farm transition in the middle of all this. and so he didn't have the food to really spam a bunch of units because his reinforcements have really been slacking, and he doesn't have food in the bank, so it's not like he's not macroing. So I think Isanych might survive for now, but
survive down 45 villagers, down a couple relics, and Gully, he's starting to drop the ram, so he's getting to the point where he just wants to end this game. Starting to take out those farms around the chapel would be a great start, just not allow any food to be gathered.
Now the question is, will we see the Tower of Sultan?
That is a good question. It's quite a bit of resources. Gully doesn't quite have enough, but it's fun to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you can see now that the farm transition is in, you see his food eco spiking up to almost 2,000 a minute. Units are now being able to be made, so now we're going to see a huge stream of units coming towards Isanych. And is Isanych going to be able to hold the follow-up attack? I expect this military graph to start really spiking here in just a moment.
Yeah, even still producing a couple horsemen to help deal with those crossbows, making some crossbows himself, Gully is. And I mean, he's just kind of, I feel like he's doing one of those things where you start clicking your production, you should make a little bit of everything just because you have so many resources, so much production, to just send it all across the map.
Oh, look at this though. Gully is not going to be able to stop. Like, Isanych is actually going to sneak a third relic here, which he needs. He needs all the help he can get right now. He needs the relics, and getting 3 when he shouldn't have been able to is really, really good for him. Assuming this makes it all the way back home alive.
That is a long journey. He'll run right past a TC, but Gully, he looks a little focused elsewhere, which makes perfect sense. He's trying to get this game ended and has himself in a great position to do exactly that.
Yeah, and don't forget, secondary TCs do not have an auto fire like main TCs, so the prelate's going to take no damage as it walks right by. All right, come on, Gully. Give us the Giga Tower. We want to see the big tower.
He's got plenty of the gold in the bank. Doesn't quite have the wood needed. He's dropping more and more production. 3 more archery ranges, another barracks.
Yeah, I mean, he really wants to put up the pressure, and he needs to because, you know, maybe Isanych, I don't know if he's looking for it, but he's starting to bank some food. He could potentially be trying to go Imperial Age here. And that could be a comeback mechanic. If he could get to Imperial Age and stabilize, and, you know, if he somehow can hold this attack, though, I'm going to be honest, 180 food to 105, I don't know. I don't even know if that would be enough.
And look at the 2 gold positions from Isanych. He just had to move all the way 28 villagers to that west side gold. Gully is forcing the pressure at the exact spot needed, dropping a keep on the eastern gold. There's literally going to be 0 gold for Isanych to get if Gully just pressures this exact location he was.
I actually really dislike that keep placement. I really think this keep placement should be right in front where that gate is and just deny those golds.
Yeah.
Oh, and Imperial Age coming in for Isanych, and this is his best chance to come back into the game.
Double mangonel being dropped for Gully, so those crossbows, those ranged units on the other side, not going to be too effective, and Gully's got plenty of spears to help deny any aggression on those mangonels, so it will have to be Springles or Culverins.
Well, we have 2 mangonels coming out, and this is going to be trouble because I am pretty sure we don't see any. I'm just looking for a siege workshop, and I'm not seeing one. Nope. So there's gonna be no. Yeah, there's gonna be no Culverins. Although he's just kind of chilling there.
Look at how much Isanych has on wood too. So he's not gonna even be able to transition to siege really quick until these villagers on Swabia go back to, if they go back to wood. Yeah, kind of split it on up. And there's another keep for Gully on that next bit of gold. Again, this could be a little bit more aggressive, especially after hearing Swabia. I would have expected this to be a little more aggressive.
I wonder if he doesn't realize how far ahead he is. Because, you know, as casters, we see everything. And it can be difficult sometimes to judge the situation. But, because I think if he knew how far ahead he is right now, I think he would have done a forward keep.
Yeah. I think that's one of those things when you're A-moving with Gulams in the base, you really don't know how much damage you do at times. He knows he does a ton, and look at the mangonels!
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah, but he used that siege ability, which I believe doesn't do as much to infantry.
I mean, it has a bigger AoE effect, And so it's just able to get on all the farms, get on all of the ranged units. So even if it didn't do a ton of damage, it's able to do damage to all of the units, which when his crossbows are spreading, he's just now cleaning up the rest of that Isanych. He just all of a sudden, you blink, he's down to single-digit military units. All those farms are being burnt down too. He needs that food. He's got food in the bank. Where's the production? Where are those units?
Yeah, he's not making any units at all.
All his barracks are idled. The stables are idled. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Oh, now it's like he just realized, okay, I need to get my upgrades and my units. Definitely seems a bit of a mistake. Ooh, and we got the cool. Oh, and now Gully is also in the Imperial Age. And look at those nice little the mangonels just raining hellfire and everything. I mean, they look cool, right? That's all. You can definitely see that when they fire, they look really cool.
And there's all the gold. Isanych can get no more gold. He's got 1,000 in the bank at least. He does have 3 relics behind this in Regnant, so a good bit of gold generation from that, but it only matters if you're using this, and he doesn't seem to be using too many of the resources, and if he does, Gully's max pop. He's just going to spend all his resources on upgrades, and game number 1 going over to Gully.
Yep, game number 1 goes to Gully. You know, very interesting first, like I said, I don't think anyone would have predicted Iabids as being picked. HRE, not as much of a surprise for the first, so very nice game by Gully there. Pretty sure he's happy to win that game number 1.
I mean, that definitely felt like there was a huge timing that Isanych could have taken advantage, could have kind of closed out the game and really gotten to HRE's Exodia factor, relics, Swabia, all that, but was not able to deny that Castle Age timing push from Gully.
Yeah, exactly. And now we'll see what their second Civ choice is.
Do I click quit and then have to rejoin your group?
I think it makes you, I guess.
Yeah, okay, cool.
You know, the usual.
The usual.
To make this easier for us, I'm going to find you real quick, and I'm just going to message you so that it looks like they are in lobby for the second game. Nice. You found me first.
I don't have as many people on my friends list as I used to.
So, yeah, that was an interesting first game. So, Gully did say in the chat that was his very first game as Iabids.
Oh, okay.
So again, it kind of comes down to he'd never played him, and that's what we're going to expect. Again, for people who are unaware, in this tournament, players are choosing their opponent's civilizations. So the goal for them, right, is to choose what they think their opponent can't play very well.
Yeah. As I mentioned, though, I feel like Ayyubids, they're one that they don't have too much. Like, yes, they have a bunch of different wings, but the complexity is not that crazy to me. They have a couple of the wings you read, and it's like almost like French's with their passive eco. It's like, oh, you get a couple of villagers and your berries do more, and you're like, all right, great. Now I just have a little bit better of an economy, and let me play off of that.
By the way, Mista in the chat saying you're an amazing person. Congratulations, Dabson, getting a Mista approval right there.
I appreciate that, Mista. Hope your farming's been doing well. Getting everything prepped for winter. I think it's winter over there.
All right. And they've already started game number 2. So, and score is working now, although I need to go to the link and so I can update the score. Thanks to Magical Cow for fixing that. All right, let's get into the next match, huh? We're not going to delay here. We're going straight into it.
Oh, and now this is more of the matchup that I was expecting here now.
Yeah, look at this. Order of the Dragon versus the Delhi Sultanate.
Cliffside is the map, one of the newer maps. Pretty interesting to watch, to see.
Yeah, so we got a minute and a half until we can actually start here. But we can already see...
I'm scared. So, like, you think about it in like orders units, like, yeah, they're gonna be strong. Delhi should have like 3 times the amount of units, sacred site control, and everything. So, I'm still scared for that fact.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, in general, right now, I view Delhi versus HRE as a Delhi favored matchup. Now, this is Order of the Dragon. Their units are obviously double the cost, double the strength, or almost double the strength. And so it's very interesting. We're going to see Order of the Dragon against Delhi, but Delhi still has Ghazi Raiders, which do well against men-at-arms. And I'm not sure.
And out of Gully's over 1,000 games played in 1v1s, he has one single ranked Delhi game, and he lost.
That
Oh
must be
wait, that wasn't all patches. Let's see all patches. He's 23, and his win rate is 30%. Not a good look. 23 games out of over 1,000, and you don't have a good high win rate. So it is. I will say Delhi's one of the civs. They play differently than a lot of others. Yes, you get your free upgrades, but you got to know which upgrades to prioritize first, what order to click stuff in, and what type of build you're really going for.
Yeah, and I'll be curious how much game time Isanych has with Order of the Dragon. That'll be interesting. And this is on Cliffside. I didn't even notice the map. So we have Cliffside here for game number 2, Delhi for Gully, and again, Order of the Dragon for Isanych, who was immediately throwing down a barracks.
What? Oh, is this the map that your gold's outside? Oh no. Oh no. This makes so much sense. This game's over. So on Cliffside, your gold is outside your TC range. How do you deal with your gilded spearmen?
Now that is the question, right? Because yeah, the gilded spearmen, very, very strong. They're stronger than a normal spear. So a normal spearman can get out healed by one scholar. But one gilded spear, I think, probably will out DPS a scholar healing.
Yeah, we do see that Gully does scout out the barracks. He actually could have lost his scout if Isanych jumped in, but I don't think Isanych could have afforded the TC idle or the villager idle time on the food. But the first spearman is out and on its way, and this is before Gully moves over to the gold. So now this is going to force a barracks reaction. He's not on wood at all. I don't know how he's going to be able to catch up and take this gold, especially if Isanych can continue this up.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said he scouted it, but then he made no reaction to it, and now, yeah, he's not going to be able to get this gold.
Yeah, no, not at all. The spearmen, before the mining camp able to be finished, already on top of those villagers. A little bit of some TC fire gets onto the spearmen. A little bit is better than nothing, but look at how tanky that spearman is still.
Yeah, it's 160 health. Like, he definitely should have, when he scouted the barracks, he should have immediately pulled villagers and gone to gold. Definitely a mistake not to go to gold immediately. And now we're going to see how Gully is going to react to this. It looks like he's just going to gather more wood. Oh no, I think he's going to throw down a barracks.
And the problem is if Isanych actually invests more into spearmen, the spearmen are so much better. They're going to just outclass the opponent, and it's not a barracks. It's going to be an outpost.
Okay, an outpost is an interesting solution. The problem is, again, he built that outside the range of his town center, so he's not getting that protection. No. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. Look at how tanky that spearman is, though, still. 3 villagers all at under half health, but the TC is firing down on that spear. Spearman cannot step up a little too far, or else it will get finished and go down. Don't pull out the shivs. That's a gilded spearman. This is purely not playing against the Order of the Dragon. You expect that to be a normal spearman. He just lost 3 villagers.
Oh, that's such a, like, that's like...
You're dead even with Order, which the villagers take longer to produce and work harder than you at the 3-minute mark. This is bad.
Yeah, this is very bad. And the thing is, Isanych here, he's about to age up. And Gully, he's not so close to aging up.
Not at all. And I mean, this is just not a position you want to be finding yourself in. It's just behind already. And the Order of the Dragon are usually a civ to build mine work. The chapel is one that it's a little bit of a bait, and
what was that? What was that, Dr. Dabson? Is this
it's a little bit of a bait.
This looks like an Akin chapel to me. Although I would have gone mine work as well. I think the mine work is a bit better. Though I actually read recently that this Akin chapel gives you the same inspiration, like the same gather rate as HRE with their chapel. Just because of the built-in inspiration that Order of the Dragon villagers already have.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. I just feel like you're you're not getting too much for yourself. But hey,
I
he's
agree.
already he's already 3 villagers ahead. Well, now he's 1 villager behind, but in reality, I would call it 3 villagers ahead here. And so now those villagers going to be working that much harder. And from here, those gilded archers are actually where I would go if I'm Isanych. They're really strong in feudal age.
Yeah, and so like this is a little deceiving. Like there's even on villagers 16, or now Gully's ahead by 1, but he's really not. Because again, Order the Dragon villagers, they do cost 60 food and take 24 seconds to produce because they do gather 20% faster or 25%, or I don't know, they gather faster than normal villagers.
Yeah, I carry more resources just like the HRE villagers do as well, but looks like Isanich's plan is just going to go to second TC, and the Tower of Victory is just now starting. Gully can scout out the second TC play, but by the time he can react to it, I feel like it's already too late. He's so far behind. Villagers matter so much more earlier in the game. 3 villagers getting taken out when you got 100 villagers, that's not too much. When you got 15, it is huge.
Yep, exactly. And we see... Oh, it looks like... Okay, so Isanych is going to go for a second TC. It's kind of funny. It's like he's playing HRE twice, right? Playing HRE and then playing Order of the Dragon. Kind of funny. So, and he's kind of doing the same build order. He's doing Ack and Chapel. Only difference being that early Spearman Rush, of course.
Yeah, and the thing here is I think this was more map-based. This is that map that the gold's outside your TC range. So if your opponent doesn't scout the early pressure, we saw exactly what happened. You're going to force a lot of idle time. You're going to force a delay. And even with the Spearman production, he's way ahead on the feudal age timing. The second TC, it's already about to start being dropped before Tower of Victory even finishes.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yep.
Man, Isanych has got to feel very good about his position. I'm surprised he didn't take a more aggressive approach, but I guess he just, definitely prefers this style, which is fine. I don't know how good this will be, but I mean, in general, he should scale better. Everything's going to be later. Grabbing the sacred sites is going to be later. I mean, just think about it. We're at 6.5 minutes, and he's just now starting Sanctity.
Yeah, I've heard with Order, I haven't played them much myself, but I've heard earlier on their week, later on their week, but in the middle game, there is kind of this sweet spot for them that they can be somewhat strong, and this is kind of where I feel like Isanych can find himself here. Second TC, once it finishes, it secures up a lot of food for himself. He is dropping a Stables, which again, I would prefer the Gilded Archers just because they do so much more damage than what's expected, and I feel like it's one of those things when you're like playing against the Order of the Dragon and you haven't played against them much, you're like, just how we saw with the Spearman, you're like, oh, I can pull out the shivs and kill this Spearman that has 10% health. It's like, no, you can't actually.
Yeah, no, it's not like a normal Spearman. Question is, okay, so Isanych is going to make Horseman, and what's his follow-up going to be after that? Or is he going to try to go a faster castle? I mean, he only has 2 on gold, so I'm guessing not the castle. And we do have the first Horseman on the way as well.
And I love the vision that Isanych has been getting for himself. He has that scout parked right next to the Tower of Victory. This is why I went with the Stables. It's the double range. So he sees the double range. He sees how much Gully's investing in the archers and knows that 1-2 horsemen can just clean this right up.
Yeah, and this feels like a little bit of a mistake to me. I feel like he should have had a barracks earlier, but maybe he expected a men-at-arm transition, maybe. Because, yeah, this is definitely like, yeah, he's going to get this wallop, so that's nice for him.
Oh.
But that horseman is still going to be able to go around, and unless he gets that wallop ASAP, which looks like he's going for it, this horseman will easily clean up these 4 archers.
He's moving around. He's going to try to wall up the west side, too, I think. Just try to get full security of the sacred site, but I don't think has the time to do so. Archers needing to pull on back.
Yeah, we do see, so barracks coming out now, more archers, first spearman coming, did not get the hardened spearman yet. Horseman incoming here.
He didn't stop his reinforcing rally point. I mean, just look at how quick those archers go down and look at how little damage they do. That is 1 horseman versus 7 archers, and it's just getting tickled.
Yeah, because it has 250 health, unlike a normal one, which I don't remember how much health a normal one has, but we have the second.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. 2 archery ranges coming out for Isanych now. And, still making those horsemen. Tried to burn down the wall, but is forced back. And we'll kind of see. So these are now Order of the Dragon archers are pretty powerful, by the way. They have a 1.0 attack speed, and obviously they deal more damage and have more health compared to normal archers, like everything else Order of the Dragon has.
Yeah, I got baited into thinking that like 10 to 15 horsemen would have taken out like a 30 gilded archer combo in a team game, and I looked back after A moving and I didn't have any horsemen over there. So they do a lot more damage than I was expecting, and we do see that the range has been built for Isanych, and he has already produced the first gilded archer out.
Yeah, now they can't. Now they do have a unique upgrade, the Dragon Scale, which allows them to increase their ranged armor by 3, but that's only available in the Castle Age. And here we go. So I'm surprised Gully didn't build a gate on the wall and just walk in that way. That way he can easily retreat if needed. It feels like a little bit of a misstep, I guess is the word.
Yeah. We're at the 10-minute mark, and the sacred site is just now being capped. Order the Dragons ahead in villagers. This is definitely a much better situation than you would expect. The military number is a bait against Order. Obviously, their units are essentially 2. So Isanych still in a great position right now, and the wall, it's about to get to half health over here. And Gully, he doesn't have too much. He's got 18 archers, so should be able to snipe down the gilded archers if he gets in range, but it's still going to be hard to do so.
Yeah, exactly. So he has 3 gilded archers at the moment. Gully, I think the way he's played this since getting feudal is the best he can do. I do like that he's walling. He's making it very difficult for Isanych to really move out, and this is kind of the downside of the second TC. Is it really slowed down the making of units, so he's not able to get as many units out as he could have, if he just stayed 1 TC.
Yeah, he is able to see that Gully is starting to go onto the deer in the backside. So if he circles around with some horsemen, he can get some great raiding in. But instead, he actually just opts to take down this scholar, deny the second sacred site from being capped. This is such a huge pickup now.
Yes, because since he went Tower of Victory, this is a bigger deal than if you go like Dome of Faith. Because with Dome of Faith, you already have a bunch of scholars, and each scholar you lose with the Tower of Victory is a big deal.
Villagers on the deer have run out for Isanych. Gonna have to move to a different food location. Another scholar is headed its way up north, but the Gilded Horsemen are now trying to find a spot to do some raiding, and there are multiple spots in Gully's side that are quite vulnerable.
Yep, let's see. It looks like Isanych should see this tower, and I think he could burn it down easily. I mean, he's got no contest, but has he seen it? He didn't. He actually has no idea there's berries right there. I'm looking at his vision right now, and he does not know. So these berries will be safe for the time being.
I assume he's going to go back to the deer spawn. He's seen the deer start to move around a little bit, jump around. He could see that one's dead. There's only 2 spears. Spears are nothing to Gilded Horsemen when there is that many in number. Gully needs to pull back with his army, mainly spears, but he can't really deal with this right now.
Yeah, you can't just leave, when there's 5 Gilded Horsemen, you can't really just leave 2 Spearmen and expect it to deal with it, right? This is, ooh, did not lose a villager, though. Was actually able to escape, so that's good for Gully. He doesn't want any more villager losses. He's had enough as it is. And
behind this, he's been able to full wall, and he's going up to castle.
Yep, he's on his way to Castle Age now. And, yeah, there's a lot of units at home for Isanych, but he's not pushing. He's not trying to deny sacred sites, which is a little bit of a mistake, I feel like. He should have taken down one of the walls and just decapped when he had the chance, because he knows Gully's army is chasing his 5 horsemen, or Gilded Horsemen.
I do feel like we're at a point, though, where Isanych can stop production for a minute or so and be able to go on up. He's transitioned to some farms under that chapel. Just needs to send some more on over to gold to make that transition.
I mean, if he pushes right now, Gully's going to have to retreat.
It's 41 to 32. Those units are essentially double for Isanych. He sees the military in the middle. Gilded Archers starting to fire, and just look at how fast they're able to take down the archers on the other side.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, in a straight-up engagement, this is Isanich's chance. He needs to push, because there's 600 gold in the bank for Gully and 500 food. It looks like he's going to start going in for men-at-arms himself, or maybe knights. That's a stable as well. And he needs to get these out ASAP, because otherwise he's going to get cleaned up.
And there it is. Castle Age has finished. Isanych needs to leave one unit back, decap the site, and push forward. Exactly what he does. Gold's being denied for the time being. This is awful for the Delhi because it's not like they can get those quick military upgrades. They gotta wait quite a bit of time, and so those units, they don't get the Castle Age ability unless the men-at-arms start popping out. But Isanych, he jumps on top of the production.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a tiny army for Gully. Like, even for, you know, the tiny army is supposed to go to Isanych, but really, Gully's army looks smaller, just like in terms of units quality or quantity.
Yep.
And I think this is going to be an easy cleanup for Isanych here. I think he's going to easily be able to take out these spearmen, then the horsemen can take out the archers.
If he's not taking the fight though, he might not be comfortable in order. He might not know how strong his units actually are.
Yeah, look at the reinforcements incoming. I mean, oh man, this feels like such a like he's too scared here. I think this is a mistake.
This is such an easy fight to take if he's he can A-move this fight and just win it.
Yeah, I think he's just, yeah, he's playing this a little too scared, I think. I think he's now trying to get himself to Castle Age, maybe, not sure. Now, I'm surprised Gully's pushing this. I feel like he should be happy that the army retreated.
And there we go, though. The archers, that you just blink and they take out all the spears on the other side. Only 3 left. Horsemen now are going to be able to close the gap. Another scholar goes down. No relics secured yet.
Tower Elephant.
Oh,
That's an interesting decision. I think I would have preferred more knights than a Tower Elephant, personally.
Yeah, agreed.
But he's being he wants to be the Chad this game. He's like, nope, we're going elephant, baby. We're going to show the power of Delhi.
Isanich's dropping even more farms. These are all in that chapel radius. And the fight's being taken. The horsemen step on forward. Like we said, not too many spears there. And actually, there are no spears left on that front line anymore. Isanych continuing to step. Has the numbers. Horsemen just able to take and be that front line that they need to be. Keep in mind, those basically half as tanky as that elephant.
And this is kind of the benefit that even though Isanych is in feudal age, his gilded archers are actually doing a good amount of damage to the men-at-arms. And so he should be able to clean this up. That Tower Elephant is actually doing some work, I think. The Gilded Horsemen are done. They're dead.
The Horsemen are dead, but look at what Gully has left after this. There's just basically the elephant. Villagers are moving back forward. I don't know where those villagers are moving to.
Just look how fast they fire.
He's going for a keep.
Oh, this is not going to go down. These villagers are going to be sniped.
They're just... what is he thinking? He was late on the pullback, too. More archers coming to the front line.
Looks like he is pushing this back. That Tower Elephant, I was kind of laughing at it, but it's actually kind of doing work.
It's done a great job so far, but that keep, it's so slow at going up. There's only 5 villagers on it. I felt like Isanych could have just run past this and just made sure to deny the keep. Still, though, he is committed into feudal age, and he might be losing his time, and he's losing his mass. And Gully, his is going to be crossbows. His is going to be men-at-arms now.
Yeah, I noticed that Gully's been so distracted by this, right? He hasn't been able to take any other relics yet. So he's just kind of, taking a... Like, this Tower Elephant is destroying these Gilded Archers now. I mean, this elephant is MVP right here. Like, no joke.
Yeah, Isanych is just not making any sort of transition into other military units, just continuing to pressure this and not getting any pressure on the Delhi's villagers.
Yeah, now the Tower Elephant looks like it is about to go down. This keep is going to finish. Crossbows, men-at-arms streaming across the map. The earlier crossbows have been killed by the Gilded Archers. I mean, like I said, Gilded Archers, they do okay. Like, these men-at-arms have +2 range. Or no, they don't have +2 range yet. I thought they did. But they still do, they're doing a lot of damage compared to normal archers.
Yep. The problem for Isanych, though, is the villagers he just sent on over to the farms. He's trying to build more farms, but that's right where Gully is headed towards.
Yep, and, there's been 7 villagers killed. Or so Isanych lost 7 villagers. Now, again, he's on 2 TC, so he's still pretty far ahead that way. But now he's got idle farms. 3rd sacred site finally being taken. Well, technically the 2nd, since the middle one's gone. And this kind of just feels like a thing where I think Isanych commits, like, his feudal attack was good, but then he, like, retreated, which gave Gully time.
Why is Gully pulling back?
I might just want to build his mass here.
I feel like he's letting Isanych stabilize a little bit, letting him breathe.
Yeah, he is. And the thing is like, Isanych kind of fell into the trap where I think he stayed feudal age again a little too long. And now it's very hard for him to try to get to that next stage. He's spamming out Gilded Archers, but again, this mass is getting scarier and scarier for Gully.
Yeah, once that men-at-arms number starts to get into double digit, it becomes so scary to deal with. Look at how tanky they are. Getting 3-shot. Villagers have to jump inside the town center, so the villager difference has been nullified here. Gilded Archers, though, they are kiting back this men-at-arms unit pretty efficiently.
Yeah, and I don't know what I was going to say there, but yeah, so we kind of see, middle sacred side being taken. Gully is, again, he's still, that tower elephant is still alive, by the way. This elephant literally is just a Chad. It deserves
21 health left on it.
Yeah, it deserves to be healed. This can't die. If this dies, it's a tragedy. That's just, you're treating your units badly if you're letting your tower elephant die.
The one benefit for Isanych is that Gilded Archer number is starting to climb back up. He's dealt with a few of these men-at-arms getting split off.
And look at the villagers killed.
Continues to lose some villagers.
23 villagers killed or lost for Isanych. And he's not even close to Castle Age. He's stuck in feudal. His economy is getting more and more idle, and now the men-at-arms mass is starting to get very scary to deal with.
He's got 24 archers. He's getting to the point where he can almost 2-shot the men-at-arms, but he doesn't have food secured for himself. He has a ton of farms, but the farms is what has constantly been raided. He's had to move around those villagers. Still, though, not all of the relic control yet for Gully.
And let's rest in peace for this elephant who did so much work and was not healed. He was treated poorly by his masters. F's in the chat for poor tower elephant.
It's actually still 4 cycles of those those archers to kill the men-at-arms. Luckily, though, not that many there left. The archers trying to step up. They're the good damage dealers on the Gilded Archers.
Yeah, and look at these Gilded Archers trying to kind of, they're able, like I said, they're able to deal with the men-at-arms a lot better than normal archers, but they still tank a lot. He's losing more and more archers, and kind of like the last game, I feel like Gully kind of has this now. I feel like he's kind of got this pretty secured. I don't see a way that he can lose this because, again, Isanych isn't close to castle. He still needs another 1,000 food. And
8 more seconds in that keep. Actually, the multiple keeps start being TCs for Gully.
Yeah, this is kind of where I think Gully, again, he's being a little too passive with his keeps. This is the opportunity where you jam that keep in your opponent's face. Because imagine,
just drop one on that left of the chapel. All of those farms now are gone.
Exactly. There's no reason not to. That keep cannot be denied. And I mean, Isanych is kind of holding on, but
yeah, I don't know how.
But again, he's lost 32 workers now. They're even in build count, which again still is better for Isanych, but Isanich's economy is not very good. And again, that Sacred Site timer is ticking down. More knights coming in, more men-at-arms. Relics still haven't been taken. No, 3 relics have been taken. No, wait, what?
Gully's plan is Sacred Site win. He's just going for Sacred Site, but he's got to keep on every Sacred Site now.
Yeah. Man, imagine if he put that keep just a little bit forward, like on that, the hill where those farms are. Denies a solid group of farms.
Yeah, the huge benefit for Gully, at least with this keep, I believe it will give him the vision of those farms, so he'll know where that pocket eco is of Isanych, but I don't think it's going to matter for long as Gully is diving the TC again, and this is the final, I think, final stand for Isanych. He's got those 20 Gilded Archers, but there's Knights now, there's Lancers, there's Men-at-Arms, and they are on top of that mass, getting that damage on all of those Archers.
Yeah, we just see a constant stream of units coming across the map. The Gilded Archers dropping down more and more. And, he's still making Gilded Archers, but they just can't do anything. And now villagers are coming out of the keeps as well. And so that villager count's only going to grow more for Gully.
And it is now 5 relics being secured by Gully. He was about to go pick up the last ones, but it won't matter. It's the 2-0 from Gully, and I think if we had paused that game at the 3-minute mark, every single person would have put their money on Isanych getting up those villagers that early, but just shows why you don't quit the game.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of remember when that barracks came down and someone was saying that the game was over. It was it.
It felt like it was it.
Yeah, and now
Oh,
we see a 2-0 victory for Gully. Again, both games kind of felt like he was in a rough spot, and then Isanych kind of, I think his biggest mistakes in both games is staying feudal too long and not committing to castle when you had the chance. I think Castle Age is where you want to be, because imagine, the Gilded Knights are terrifying units. Uh, they're very easy to underestimate because you're like, oh, it's only like one knight coming my way, but it's not, because it's worth two, and it shows, or almost two. It's not quite.
and I feel like the same thing could have been said for feudal. You do have access to those men at arms.